He comes and goes on a rainbow. That's right. He is. The culture blaster blasting for us on Fridays. Michael Snyder, everybody.
Hey,
Michael,
Mark. Hey, hi, Kim, and everybody
Hi.
else. And I was really fascinated to hear about the official aroma of New Mexico being green chili, because the official aroma of the San Francisco Giants fans is despair. So,
Well, Champagne Wishes says homelessness is the official smell of California.
oh, that is
What?
really, yeah, that's a bit.
leave it to live chat. Listen, thank you to the San Francisco 49ers, storied National Football League franchise, for a magical season wherein their most amazing feat was winning game after game while finessing the incredible disappearing quarterback trick. I mean,
Yeah,
wow.
it's true. It really is true. And Michael Shore made the point that game didn't feel like a game. It felt like
No.
just, it was just something. So,
Well, how does a team win when you run out of quarterbacks if you're playing football? And that's what happened halfway through Sunday's NFC Championship match. Still, that's my team, win or lose. And we got a mega talented roster, largely remaining in place. So the outlook on next season looks bright. Go Niners, go Warriors, go Giants. I'm on board.
smash the like button for all of them.
With your iron rod.
I am
damn straight.
loyal. Loyalty is one of my traits. So, before we get into the new movies that have been released today, I do want to talk briefly about this Tempest in a Teapot regarding the nomination as Best Actress of a British actress named Andrea Riseborough for a little film called To Leslie. And, it's funny when you review movies as part of your career profile, you rely on publicists to get you access to the films, to screenings or screening links. And it's always daunting when you don't get the access, especially during awards season. So in December, this movie To Leslie drops with, big dreams, even though it's made on a small budget. And I am never given access to
What?
it. And it has its theatrical run in LA and New York in order to be considered for Oscar nominations and the rest of the awards. And finally, it comes out in theaters and via streaming. And I finally caught up to it. And Andrea Riseborough is the star, and To Leslie is a positively harrowing look at the crippling nature and we'll call it the inexorable pull of addiction. And her performance is superb. Yeah, I know. Inexorable, right? Superb, heartbreaking. She's a skilled actress. She's from the UK, and you might be familiar with her work or not. She's done recent stuff like Matilda the Musical and Amsterdam, and earlier movies. She was I believe the female lead in Birdman, and she played opposite Tom Cruise in Oblivion. And she absolutely, remember, she's from the UK. She disappears into the role of an alcoholic single mother from Texas who wins over 100,000 in the lottery, blows it, and years later tries to reconnect with her son, who she had abandoned. And I'm telling you, people are complaining about the nomination and how she got it, but she deserves every accolade. And the Academy bitching about social media, contributing to an Oscar nomination campaign when movie studios spend millions and millions of dollars to promote various actors, actresses in films is, we'll call it hypocritical. Let's call it hypocritical.
I fully expected you to say after they had held back the screening, after, it came to you late, that you didn't like it, but it's just the opposite. You think that she really was terrific.
Absolutely. And I don't want to forget the incredible and memorable supporting work from a cast that includes Allison Janney, Stephen Root, Owen Teague, and a San Francisco comedy alumnus, Mark Maron, who we all know as podcaster supreme. And he's building a nice little filmography as an actor. And he gives a really fine, subtle performance, probably the best of his career to date, in a straight dramatic role here, directed by Michael Morris and written by Ryan Binaco. I would say To Leslie is worth your time. It is rough riding, because she will tear you up, Andrea Riseborough, in this, and she deserves accolades. Again, I think the apples and oranges nature of these award shows and people complaining about what seemed to be shortchanging um, uh, actresses of color in the
Right.
nomination realm,
Yep.
and whining about that. Yeah, fine, but don't deride this wonderful performance by Andrea Riseborough. That's all I'm saying.
There is just so
It,
much. There's so much virtue signaling around the awards, which are ridiculous anyway. As you've said before, you and I are complete agreement that you can't compare two performances in totally different projects to each other. You can appreciate them, but you can't, say one's a winner, one's not. Uh, and then it becomes a receptacle for all that societal cultural crap. And so it's cool to hear you say that. So you're telling me it doesn't have a happy ending, though. Is what I'm getting.
No.
well, I'm not gonna say that blatantly, but boy, it's brutal. I mean, again, the cycle of addiction is
Yeah.
real and problematic, and lives are ruined, and this does not shy away from that. But I want
Okay.
to say how proud I am of Mark Maron, who used to show up on the old Alex Bennett show when I was there, and I always enjoyed hanging out with him. And also San Francisco luminary Linda Perry of Four Non Blondes does a lot of the music into Leslie. So, I'm no
Wow.
degrees of separation from two people there, but that is not why I'm praising the film. I swear, honestly.
All
So
right.
if most of the time Academy Awards are, the nomination process as the studios throw a bunch of money at it and have this, kind of press thing that happens when they're promoting a certain actress or movie or actor to get nominated for an award, why would they be so upset about a grassroots campaign from a bunch of actors to promote a certain performance? I
Well,
guess I don't.
I was going to say, Kim, the H word, the one we use toward the right wing of the GOP, hypocrisy. These people are angry because they found that the chosen golden folk that they were promoting with millions of dollars of for your consideration and whatever, some of them got squeezed out. And whether they deserve to be recognized for their work, and yes, for instance, Viola Davis in The Woman King deserves praise, but here we go. This is the way the situation played out, and I just think it's a ridiculous, again, a tempest in a teapot.
Yeah.
I'll be watching the Oscars, and we'll talk about that when the show comes around and the
And how
presentations happen. But
sad that how
it's
sad
bunk.
that Riseborough could do that, have such an amazing performance, and now it's tainted with all this. So it's almost like, well, they can't have her win because then it would be a big controversy. Or if she does win, it's going to be, have this tinge to it.
It's a little crazy, and there you have it. What are you
Yeah.
going to do? Let's move on to some new movies that are opening today or becoming available on streaming. I want to start with a movie called Knock at the Cabin. The filmography of the director-screenwriter M. Night Shyamalan is a naughty thing. I mean, you have the early memorable chillers, The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable. Fresh
Right.
takes on genre movie making, spiced with unexpected and occasionally stunning reveals. Then a series of pretentious misfires, including The Village and The Happening. Then a return to form with The Visit and Split. Then a couple more head scratchers. And now he's delivered Knock at the Cabin. And I'm happy to report that it's good, Shyamalan. Adapted
Wow.
by the director and a couple of co-screenwriters from a book of some repute. The cabin of the title is inhabited by a married couple, Leonard and Eric, and their young adopted daughter, Wen, who are on a vacation getaway in the woods. All is initially calm and idyllic until a burly, seemingly gentle man shows up accompanied by three companions, one more man and two women, knocks on the cabin door, and insists that Wen and her two daddies are the key to stopping the impending apocalypse. Wait. Did I mention that all four visitors appear rather ordinary, but are armed with crude weapons as well as a rather disturbing set of beliefs. The question of how the beleaguered family can stop the apocalypse is the crux of Knock at the Cabin, and Shyamalan gives a solid piece of work here. It's a good job of building tension while addressing issues such as free will, the power of love and devotion, and the validity of theological beliefs and mysteries in the modern world. Hey, the cast is uniformly excellent, especially Broadway star Jonathan Groff, who you may recall as King George III in the original cast of Hamilton. And British actor Ben Aldrich from Pennyworth, among other things, on TV, the Batman's Butler prequel. They play the two loving fathers, and ex-wrestler turned thespian Dave Bautista. He was in the recent Blade Runner and Dune movies, but best known as Drax in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, giving his richest and most complex performance to date. I should note also that Rupert Grint, a.k.a. Ron Weasley from the Harry Potter movies, plays one of the cabin's unsettling visitors. I guess a Hogwarts education isn't what it used to be. Anyway, it may not be the best thing M. Night has done, but it's one of his better efforts. I found Knock at the Cabin to be a satisfying thriller with enough genuinely disturbing moments to generate a shiver or three, and that's no Knock. Knock at the Cabin is in theaters as of today.
Theaters. Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. By the way, The Leslie is in theaters also only?
No, it's available on various streaming platforms, so you can seek it out, Mark. I think it's $6.99 in some cases, and it's powerful. It is. All right.
Now from Knock at the Cabin, we move on to. By the way, I forget who said it, but somebody said if you don't watch the trailer for Knock at the Cabin because it spoils the movie. Do you agree with that, or do you recall seeing the trailer?
I can't stand trailers that do that, and it does imply a lot of things. I tried my best not to get too detailed, and I did want to just say, though, it brings in the question of an apocalypse, which sounds like a bunch of baloney. Or if you're a devout religious type, it might be something to put the fear of whatever they perceive as God into their hearts. So it's part and parcel of it.
What else do you have for us, Culture Blaster?
Let's move on. The quasi comedy 80 for Brady is in some ways the Golden Girls go to the Super Bowl.
I love this one. I'm excited about it. Is it good? Well,
that's in some ways. In other ways, it's simply a branding endeavor for Tom Brady Enterprises Incorporated at LLC. So it mixes recent sports history and geriatric humor to what the makers hoped was crowd-pleasing effect. Well, the best thing I can say about 80 for Brady is that it stars 4 actresses of a certain age, and we'll actually delineate their ages because I think it's important. Jane Fonda, 83, Lily Tomlin, 83, Sally Field, 76, and Rita Moreno, 91, women who I revere. Wow. And who can still get it done on camera, seriously. But this vehicle does them no favors. Over the course of their careers, Fonda, Tomlin, Field, and Moreno have done such superlative work, earned so much love, and generated such goodwill that it's possible to forgive them for a misfiring, cornball, not very funny bit of hero worship and brand enhancement that's actually based on a true story, Mark.
Although, wow, there's
completely and utterly fictionalized in the context of a genuine event. Specifically, the event is the 2017 Super Bowl between the New England Patriots, led by the now retired, or maybe that should be retired for now, quarterback, Tom Brady, a quarterback for the ages, and the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, we have a spoiler alert. That's the Super Bowl wherein Brady led the greatest comeback in NFL championship game history and beat the Falcons. Anyway, that tragedy aside, because, if you're a 49er fan, trust me, that was a tragedy. The movie 80 for Brady was inspired by the fact that 4 elderly, as in 80-something women, who were Brady and Pats fans, somehow made it to that dramatic Super Bowl to root for their hero. So this was a rare chance for the quartet of Fonda, Tomlin, Field, and Moreno. And let me remind you, that's not a law firm. They could co-star in a Hollywood movie at this point in their careers. I would never begrudge them for cashing a paycheck, even one for this labored, albeit harmless comedy. Yeah, 80 for Brady is a chore to sit through, especially for
Oh.
those of us who are not Brady fans, even if we acknowledge his greatness. Its only saving grace is the chance to watch the ladies trying to make something palatable out of the obvious setups, the cliched jokes about aging, and the heavy-handed way the script tries to make the gals crucial to Brady's success in what ended up, by the way, as a nightmare game for the Falcons, a team that included, as offensive coordinator at the time, one Kyle Shanahan. Thus, it's a bitter pill for Niner fans. In his admittedly limited time in scenes shot specifically for the movie rather than legitimate game footage, Brady is pretty wooden, which does not bode well for his extravagantly rewarded television commentary career to come. Tight end Rob Gronkowski is on board as himself. He has so much more charisma in his minute or so on screen with Sally Field. Look, lame or gratuitous cameos are shoehorned into the movie. Billy Porter, Patton Oswalt, Andy Richter, and most egregious of all, Guy Fieri. As I said, it's intended to be a crowd pleaser. I am apparently not in that crowd. 80 for Brady in theaters. Caveat emptor.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. You load that project up with that many gifted actors,
Yeah.
even though it feels like a one-dimensional premise and kind of a lot of one-dimensional premises can actually take on three dimensions given that kind of casting, and with even a couple of revisions of script, but this didn't apparently. So
it's schlock. I got to give you a quick heads up about a smaller film. This is not too Leslie, but it's maybe the sort of film that needs attention before it falls through the cracks. Baby Ruby is a lean indie film that takes a very astute and unsettling look at a new mother who begins to think of her incessantly crying baby as a demonic entity. I mean, in some ways,
God.
screenwriter and director Bess Wall has turned the very real plight of postpartum depression into the stuff of horror movies, and it works. Jo is played by French actress Nomi Merlant, recently in Tar and Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Terrific actress. And she's playing a well-regarded lifestyle journalist and influencer who's using her pregnancy as fodder for her popular vlog. And she and her artisan butcher husband, played by, are you ready? Kit Harington, heroic Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. They're living the good life until baby Ruby is born, and the infant's tantrums and needs turn Joe's life into a living hell. So, is Ruby's behavior normal? Is she sick? Is she vindictive with only a few days of life? Even a group of other local mothers who offer friendship and support are perceived as nefarious by the very vulnerable Joe. Maybe this isn't a depiction of postpartum depression, but an actual horror movie. Maybe it's both. In either case, Baby Ruby is incredibly effective in its attempt to illustrate the heavy responsibilities, the genuine pressures, and the occasional torment of caring for a newborn, particularly a bulky one. It is in theaters and streaming on demand at the usual places.
Wow. The Culture Blaster really blasted a lot today,
Yeah.
Kim.
Poor baby Ruby.
Yeah.
God.
But he liked Baby Ruby.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Baby Ruby is in theaters. Michael liked it. You just heard he had nice things to say, not such nice things.
Wait. It's also available on streaming, Mark.
Oh, theater and streaming.
Is it bloody or is it more of a psychological thriller? Because that makes a difference to me. I don't want to see the gore when you're talking about a horror movie.
It's essentially psychological horror, and I think that it'll be impactful to you, and you may go, "Yikes!" Considering the fact that you are a mom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Kim. It might hit even harder for you.
Trust me, there have been moments where I'm like, "Are you the devil? You could be."
Baby Ruby is that movie. 80 for Brady. Even though it was chock full of all that talent, all those cameos, and one of the most handsome, accomplished men in America when it comes to football, Tom Brady.
I'm so disappointed. I thought it was going to be fun and kitschy.
Well, no, Kim, You may be its target audience, Kim. Oh, I can't. I said it. I said it. I'm sorry.
That is strong. Love that.
How rude.
Yes,
What?
I do think that there's no way I can say it otherwise. Michael didn't like it, and
Yeah.
so he's a pass. The Culture Blaster is on 80 for Brady. But if you want to see it, it is in theaters, and probably won't be long before you can stream it as well.
Sure.
Knock at the Cabin. There was some disagreement in the chat, Michael Snyder, Culture Blaster, about Shyamalan's work, some of which you put in the missed category and some of which you put in the hit category. I think that's a fair thing to say.
True.
But then
True.
what specific films you put in the hit category and missed categories, that's where there was disagreement in the chat.
Everybody's got an opinion, Mark, and I have mine on the Mark Thompson show.
Yes, well, Culture Blaster on this one says it's a hit. He liked it. Knock at the Cabin is one of Shyamalan's good ones. He
One of his better movies, yes.
His better movies. He's not saying he's not over the moon crazy for it, but he does like it. Knock at the Cabin is in theaters. And the Culture Blaster liked the much talked about film To Leslie. It stars that Andrea Riseborough, and she's been nominated for an Academy Award for her performance, and it has been wrapped up in some controversy again. And the Culture Blaster felt that that controversy sadly takes from what is a virtuoso performance. He feels that this film is filled with really good performances, and hers is one of them. Isn't that a fair summary?
Yeah, hers is topping the pile. But again, kudos to our friend Mark Maron, our friend, our former radio colleague, who delivers a great supporting role performance. Before we get out of here, I do want to make one quick recommendation for TV lovers: Poker Face on Peacock. Ryan Johnson, the guy behind Knives Out and Glass Onion, created this Murder of the Week throwback to Columbo-style TV shows and wrote and directed the first episode. But instead of a rumpled Peter Falk, the crime solver here is a scruffy, cynical, gold-hearted savant played by Natasha Lyonne of Russian Doll fame, making this a considerable very different update of the 70s primetime mystery series Paradigm. I really am enjoying Poker Face with the spiky and spicy Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah, somebody mentioned Poker Face, I think yesterday or the day before in the chat. John Watson said the sequel to 80 for Brady will be 90 for Jimmy. Yeah. Oh, it's John Smith. I said Poker Face, Mark. Courtney is Poker Face. Okay.
Really nice. Oh,
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't even know what that reference is, but it sounds funny.
Poker Face is sort of a Murder of the Week thing, and also
I see. Good. Okay. Yeah.
Like the old Columbo shows, there are stars of some repute in each episode, and so that's kind of cool. Anyway, I just wanted to squeeze that in there, buddy.
I love that you squeezed it in. You're a squeezer as well as a blaster. He is the Culture Blaster. You can read him in the Marina Times. You can find him on social media as the Culture Blaster, and you can find him here on Fridays. He comes and goes on a rainbow.
Fare thee well.
Bye-bye, Michael.
Wait, gung hey fat choy, everybody.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.